This is a Global Original Podcast. As you can hear from the echoey sound of my voice, I have gone back to work in one of those office blocks that Boris Johnson wants us to return to. There's nobody else here. Coming up this week, stains, cows on a bus, and squirty cream. First off, I take a call from a man who looks at the political scene on both sides of the Atlantic and wishes to register his concern. Let's have a call in Camden. Hello, Lawrence.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, I've kind of gone over the last 20 years from being... Actually, I was born in Brixton in 1973, and my earliest memory of, like terror, like absolute terror, because we lived on the Brixton Hills, so, like, my first memory of terror was the Brixton riot. When this thing broke out, I was like 8 years old or something, and that was my first memory, and it stuck with me. It stayed with me. Like, I was genuinely, it was like terror. And now I've gone over the past 20 years from not really caring too much to thinking, well, getting a little bit kind of in that, and now to like genuine, like being concerned, but now I've gone back to like genuine fear.
Yeah, first I was afraid, now I'm petrified.
Thinking I could never live without you by my side.
Yes.
This is what, right? But the whole thing is, I was watching over the last, since the election. I've been watching these people, and I'm genuinely. I don't know if I'm cracking up. I don't know if I'm kind of like getting, but I'm genuinely. I wake up in cold sweat.
Yeah, it's not you.
I'm kind of think,
It's not you, Lawrence. It's I put it down to human error.
It can only be attributable to human error.
Yeah.
I used to give these people the benefit of the doubt.
No.
But I gave them the benefit of the doubt because I thought they're just incompetent. Now I think they're genuinely evil. I honestly think, and it's like this weird society of like these. And now that this man got the majority, he's like looking, and you talk about the hairstyle. Listen, don't impeach. The man that should be impeached first is Donald Trump's barber, and the other one who comes back over here. And you know why he's got the hair the way he does? To hide the horns, man. I am genuinely concerned,
yeah.
And I'm generally at the point. Look, I've lived in I've been in situations in my life. I've lived in a lot of places where, you know, I'm kind of strong-minded and made us some hard stuff. But like, I'm scared, man. And when I hear people like calling up and saying, I mean, the man that called up almost in the beginning of the show talking about how Jeremy Corbyn is knife crime is his fault, and he's been voting for Jeremy. No, but the thing was, he'd been voting for Jeremy Corbyn for 20 years,
yeah,
and it's his fault. And then
everything is his fault. Everything that's happened over the last 10 years in this country.
But then he also said at the same time that, like, you know, over the past 10 years, knife crime has got worse, and it's like, well, you know, whose fault? Anyway, I've been back in London for 3 years because I was living in Spain for 20 years in Madrid. I knew expats, Brits in England. I was there during the referendum, and they voted to leave, and they were living in Madrid. Now, again, that started to kind of, you know, jangle my nerves. I was kind of like, what? I don't get this thing. I have a son that lives in Alabama, so I go regularly to Alabama and visit my child. My child has taken recently, and he's only 10, and he's taken recently to calling me up and talking to me about Donald Trump and Jesus. And I swear to God, man, I've already made an appointment with a psychiatrist. I need to talk to somebody because I'm not quite sure if it's me or I don't know what's real and what's not now. And I'm genuinely, I'm scared, man.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think that you probably took the wrong colour pill. You had a choice between the blue and the red pill, and you chose the wrong one. If only you'd made the correct selection, Lawrence, then everything would have been fine. Just relax, baby.
Groovy.
I'm sure it'll all work out in the end. Unless it doesn't, in which case you can panic now. Yes, panic now, save time later. That's what I always say. I always say that. Now, a while ago, there was a news story about something called a super puff planet, which I don't remember too much about. I could look it up, but that would be homework, and I have a very strict policy about homework. Sheila in West London says, I've decided I need to go to one of these super puff So one of those super puff planets, as I've given up on here. That was about a news item about an hour or so ago. They've just discovered some super puff planets, which sounds like a kids' TV program. Or a transvestite's clothes emporium. Lambeth, hello Natasha, or Nasha. Is your name Nasha?
Hello, yeah, that's Nasha, yeah.
Nasha. With a G or not a G?
No, not with a G, with
no,
a SH.
With a SH.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's a bit of odd one, I know.
Yeah, Nasha. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just calling about Brexit, to be honest. And what are your thoughts?
Brexit.
Boring.
Yes.
I know it's a bit of an old topic, but I feel like it's come back to the surface, and yeah, I just thought it would be a good topic to
Well,
discuss.
because people haven't talked about Brexit for a good long while. No, okay, go ahead.
Yes, I just thought, to be honest, it's been going on for so long, and I mean, so now that Boris Johnson's won the election again, I mean, it's do you know what? It's like, it's just been dragging on, and I feel like everyone wants it to be over and just done.
Yeah.
And us to just leave it there.
Yeah, we don't care if we do die. That's right. We just want Brexit.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because after Brexit, life is going to be so fantastic. You won't believe how great this country is going to be. It will make Albion great again. We'll be able to wear a MAGA hat. We'll repurpose it from the Donald Trump original. Make Albion great again. Once we're out from underneath the rule of our evil European overlords, Nasha. Won't that be great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like the dream.
It sounds like the dream. Yeah, that's precisely what it is, yeah.
I mean, to be fair and to be honest, I just think it's just a load of...
Exactly. He left the tiniest of pause, which I thought, well, I'll take advantage of that. So whatever it is that you were going to say next, you can keep it to yourself.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I saved the delicate ears of my audience. Thanks a lot, Nasha, with an SH and no G. Brian in Gloucester says, Jeremy Corbyn's brother is called Piers. Oh, well, that's all I need to know. Let's have a call in Basingstoke. Hello, Liam.
How you doing, Nick? You all right?
Good, thanks.
I just had, I thought I'd ring you up that you were talking about the environment all earlier. I had an absolute brainwave the other day. I worked it all out. It's a bit out there, but do you think before humans on this planet, it must have been like quite nice, before...
Well, yeah, there were insects the size of a Volkswagen. Nice. I don't think it was nice. No, I don't think it was pleasant. I think if you could beam yourself to before the human race existed, I think you would probably have been eaten in about 2 seconds.
True enough, but nobody would ever accuse like a pair of giraffes driving an oil tanker and like crashing it into something and spilling loads of oil. It's humans do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So what I'm saying is that before we got it, it would have been lovely.
Oh.
But since we've been here, we've ruined it. We're good.
Yes, well, like a disease that's just spreading itself across the planet, ruining everything in our orbit.
Yeah, we multiply and we consume and we just destroy everything. We're really good at it as humans.
Well, this is what we do best.
Yeah, destroy things. But what I'm saying is that if the planet ever wants to get back to like a healthy planet, it's got to get rid of us.
It's got to get rid of us. I think it will do eventually. I mean, things will achieve balance one way or the other. I mean, it might take a long time. It might take millions of years, Liam. Or it could be next Thursday. We just don't know.
Well, I get paid on a Friday, so I prefer Friday would be better.
Yeah, Friday would be better if
get down the pub and spend my money before the world.
If anybody is actually controlling things, the invisible space wizard, if they could just leave it until Saturday.
Saturday would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
that'd be a good. But the thing is here, Nick, I think before we got here, it was lovely, and I think we're responsible for ruining it. It's just us humans. It's not any animals, is it?
Right. Well, it's not me. This planet was like this when I got here. I just want to make that absolutely plain. Absolute, yeah, totally.
Well,
Yeah.
so you've got no carbon footprint or anything.
Zero. No, I don't even breathe carbon out. I'm a good boy, I am.
I don't either. I've tried to go vegetarian, but I can't. I just like a steak every now and again. I can't help myself.
Yeah. Well, you and me both. Of course, if you go completely vegetarian, then there are certain other emissions that also are very ruinous to the environment.
I shared a room once with a vegetarian. I've never shared a room with anyone who had wind.
Always make sure that the window's open when you share a room with a vegetarian. All right.
And he said that was a sign of a healthy system. I said, well, I'd rather just not have a healthy system.
Yeah, exactly. All right, thanks a lot. Good work. Cheers, mate. I was remiss in not reading all of Brian in Gloucester's missive. He said, Nick, Jeremy Corbyn's brother is called Piers. He looks at sunspots and climate. I met him many years ago. Why should I worry about the effects of climate change on future generations? They've never done anything for me. What a wonderful note to end this show on. Yeah, what have future generations ever done for us? Good point. Coming up, there was an issue last winter with one of those give something up for a month things. Now, there's a man who does not do veganism, Donald Trump. He might eat a vegan, but not actually be one. Now, we've had Movember, where you wear a moustache for the month of November, and there's Stoptober, where you stop drinking for the month of October. Stop drinking what?
Booze.
Exactly. And now Veganuary. I imagine that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, not Veganuary, which sounds like an issue with your personal plumbing. No, Veganuary, I would imagine, where you stop eating food that tastes of something for the month of January. I'm kidding. It's where you eat no meat and end up looking like those people in health food shops. I'm kidding. It's eating vegan, which is no meat except for bacon, which doesn't count because it makes absolutely everything better. There's nothing you can think of that bacon would not improve. I had a cocktail the other week which was bacon flavoured. It actually had a rasher of bacon in it to stir the cocktail. It was one of the best drinks I've ever had in my life. If you can think of a better way to start the day, I'd be amazed. But this isn't about any of that. This is about the Veganuary adverts that were put up on buses and then taken down again because of complaints from members of the permanently outraged.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
This bus company, Arriva, put up a couple of posters which encouraged people to try. Well, they didn't put them up out of the goodness of their heart. They were paid money with it for it. Good money, too. So they put up these posters which encourage people to try a vegan plant-based diet. A vegan plant. As opposed to those meat plants. No, a vegan plant-based diet throughout a bunch of... There is seriously something wrong with my mouth today. Can you take over?
I'll try.
That was a little bit... well, that was unexpected, actually. You were supposed to say no. You've failed this test. So, have you heard Arriva put up a couple of posters which encourage people to try a vegan plant-based diet throughout January? But members of the public started whinging and whining and moaning. So what was their beef? I hear you cry. Well, the advert said that cows are distressed when their babies are taken away from them. Which seems fairly innocuous. I mean, cows are people too, you know. Why wouldn't they get distressed when their babies are taken away from them? The ads also said that most male calves are shot at birth, which is very offensive to those people that can't handle the truth. Dairy firms want female cows. It's sexist, I know, but male cows don't produce milk, no matter how hard they try. And they get retired early, with great vengeance. So it seems reasonable that a vegan group might want to highlight those two facts. What's the matter with that? But we're not interested in facts. We're all about feelings now, baby. And some locals in Shropshire felt that their rights were being abused by having those adverts plastered on buses in their area. And the bus company agreed. This campaign group, Veganuary, paid for 2 separate adverts to appear on 20 buses over the month, starting from December the 9th. But they were told that the posters would be pulled after just a couple of weeks. Local vegan campaigner Joe said, "We want to increase awareness of the vegan cause. To find them offensive is just not acknowledging the truth. They can't handle the truth." She said, "We want to highlight that this is a very discriminatory action against vegans." She says, "If we complained to Arriva if we found turkey pictures on the side of a bus offensive, they wouldn't listen to us." Yeah, no doubt. She says, "We don't know who complained and Arriva will not elaborate. But if it's anything like last year, it's likely to be the local farming community. Well, I bet they would be upset." And that seems likely. I mean, if you knew what went into the production of your dinner, you probably wouldn't want to eat it. You know, meat doesn't come on styrofoam trays covered in cling film. It was almost certainly a part of an actual animal. A part they probably didn't want to do without, but couldn't complain about because animals don't speak, especially when they're dead. And the bus company, Arriva, confirmed that the Veganuary adverts had been pulled, saying, "Advertising on our buses is managed by a third-party company where an approval process is in place. A recent customer complaint brought it to our attention that the agreed sign-off process with this third party had not been followed on this occasion. The decision to remove these adverts does not relate to the content, but was taken as the agreed procedure was not adhered to. They are sticklers for the rules." You know, it would probably be good for the planet if we all went veggie or vegan and didn't fly and drive stupidly huge cars and we bought less stuff. But we don't do that. Any of it for the compelling reason that we don't want to. And we don't care about the consequences of our actions. Just like that Chinese slave thing. Not remotely interested as long as we don't have to change our ways in any way, shape or form. What a way to run a planet, eh?
Dreadful.
Yes, frankly, I'm embarrassed on behalf of the whole human race. More chat about a non-meat diet coming up, but first, do you remember back to when we had so little to worry about that John Bercow used to make the news?
Thank you for holding. Your call's important to us.
And this call is in Watford. Hello, Alex.
Abbot, it's Costello here. How are you?
Well, I don't know. Let's find out.
Okay.
Step
All
tentatively forwards on this one. Go ahead.
Okay. Look, will John Bercow be given a peerage in the New Year's honours list by the Queen, or will Boris invite him to be a member of the Cabinet?
The former. The former, yeah.
Okay.
I want him to come back. The new guy's boring. I mean, not that I sit down and watch the Parliament channel all day long, but, you know, he was at least amusing. I mean, the whole it of it, the whole folderol that goes on with the Parliament is just so ridiculously silly that it needs somebody who's kind of embodies that silliness himself to head it up. Otherwise, it makes it look even more antediluvian.
Okay, I don't think the Queen will forget what John Bercow did for the country. But,
yeah, well, the Queen doesn't hand those things out. She doesn't make a list. She doesn't sit down and make a list and check it twice. It's the Prime Minister. It's in the gift of the Prime Minister.
Oh, well, that's not going to happen then, is it? Oh, I didn't realise that. Nick. I thought the Queen come out with a New Year's honours list.
No.
Oh, what a shame.
She doesn't come out with the honours list, and she doesn't write the Queen's speech, if you can believe that. What does she do? She didn't even put on a spangly hat. How about that for a first world problem? She couldn't put a hat on because her jewels were too heavy. All right, thanks a lot, Alex. 0345 6060 973. JD in Scotland. Scotland? That's a bit vague. You could have said Europe. JD in Scotland texts, if we start eating all of the plants, what are the animals going to eat? Well, that is a good point. He says, I think this is cruel to animals. I think we should fight to protect the rights of animals to eat the plants, and I will also fight for my rights to meet the animals, because you know that they taste good. He didn't mean meat. He meant eat, unless he wants to meet them before eating them. I mean, that's just good manners, isn't it? It's just good manners.
Be polite!
This says, Nick, we all need to go vegan. After watching Gary Yourofsky's greatest speech, I am convinced we all have to change. Who's Gary Yourofsky?
Apparently an American vegan activist.
Is he? Well, I'm sure he does good speech. Andrew, it would benefit all of the planet, I think. I mean, the amount of greenhouse gases that are expelled by cows, particularly, could be the ruination of this once great nation. And every other nation that's on planet Earth. Well, not the nations themselves. They'll be just fine. It's our place on them that's in danger. Still, nobody cares about that because it's going to happen, sometime in the future when we're all dead. Andrew in Hernhill says it's estimated that it will cost £3 billion over a 10-year period to refurbish the Houses of Parliament. But if the Greenland ice sheet continues to melt at its current rate, the Houses of Parliament will be underwater in 10 years' time. Yeah, well, and then they'll be clean. I don't think it's going to be 10 years. Well, it could be. Well, we'll find out. Unless you think that climate change is not a thing and science doesn't exist, in which case your ignorance will protect you. You could use it as a flotation device. Bodmin. Hello, Malcolm.
Hello, Nick. How are you, sir?
Good, thanks.
Nick, I absolutely agree with your view on cars. I've got one. Nick. It runs. It's a 1 litre engine. It's low energy, low output. I think anybody who owns more than one car, especially if they're not all on the road, I think has to address their issues. Yeah. What do you think, Nick?
I think they should be executed.
Yeah, but what about people who own 3, none of which are on the road, which are clogging up the streets around where they live?
Quite right.
What should happen to them, Nick?
I think their hanging's too good for them.
Oh, Nick, I love you, man.
All right, thanks a lot, Malcolm. 0345 6060 973. That is an absolute lie. Liar! I do have 3 cars, but one of them actually works. It's just a nightmare. Never buy a car. Particularly a second-hand car, because those people can see you coming. They saw me coming. Of course, they wouldn't see me coming in the car that they sold me, because it doesn't work. And now I've just got a message from a garage saying, "Hi, the car that doesn't work." They didn't put it like that, but they didn't know it doesn't work. They said, "Your car is due for its MOT soon."
Oh, no.
How's it going to get through its MOT when it doesn't actually blooming well work? It just gets worse and worse. It really does. I'm thinking of setting fire to it. To warm my hands on the glow of my vast mistake. I am a stupid idiot. I just keep making ridiculous mistakes over and over and over. Is that the case with you? Are you a stupid idiot too?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So that's 100% of the people who expressed a preference claim that they are stupid idiots. I think we all are. Human error, that's what it's all about.
It can only be attributable to human error.
But the moment that robots take over and start making our decisions for us, can't come soon enough.
Affirmative.
Tracy says if we don't eat the cows, there'll be more of them, which equals more methane in the atmosphere, so more global warming. Well, that's a good point, Tracy. We have to maintain the current level of cow culling. Otherwise, we'll be in big trouble. I didn't think about that. Of course, if I think the overpopulation of the cow fraternity is an issue. If they just stop interfering with each other's cow parts, disgusting, then we'd really be getting somewhere. Ian in Sheffield says, weren't we all going to die with a hole in the ozone layer a couple of years ago? Hardly anybody remembers it now. Yes, because the hole in the ozone layer sealed itself because we stopped pouring, was it CFCs? I've got no idea what that stands for. Carbofluoro something. CFC. Look it up. What are you asking me for? CFCs. I think we stopped using them in fridges and hair dryers and you know that the cream that squirts out of a can, that stuff. And that's why the hole in the ozone sealed itself. I think. I mean, not that I have. Uh-oh. Have you seen that? What does that mean?
I think it's okay.
We've just had a message come up.
Warning, warning.
It says LBC, FM and UK error. What does that mean?
Fingers crossed.
Are we even still on the air? Hello? Is this thing on? I've never seen that before. It's quite a nice colour, though. It's a colour that I've never seen the screen go. It's sort of a peachy colour. In fact, the only time I've ever seen a colour quite like that is when Donald Trump's on the TV.
Oh, shut up!
It's a sort of a peachy, it's a peachy haze. In fact, get Jimi Hendrix on the phone. He's going to have to re-record that song, Peachy Haze.
Rock and roll!
So we've got no idea whether we're still broadcasting anymore because there's a message to come up with which just says that there's an error somewhere.
Warning, warning!
So we'll find out, I suppose. Somebody get a radio. I've got one in my car. I knew it would come in useful eventually. Coming up, and there's no nice way to say this, a conversation about stains. After that warning sign made everything go wrong. Yes, well that didn't work.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Everything is going extremely well.
But that was really weird because during the news, the warning light disappeared. So we thought that everything was fine. Nothing to see here. Please move along. And we were completely incorrect in every respect. It looks all right, but it isn't. Do you have any explanation for that?
Yeah, I think we're about to get the adverts in a second.
The only explanation I can find. What do you mean, in a second? You mean they're about to fire automatically?
I think they might do, yes.
So I have to shut up at any given moment?
Quite possibly, yes.
Right. Well, so we got no idea. Shall I just press on? I'm a professional and I can work through it. Kevin in Ashford in Middlesex says, stains is the... Stains. Could they have not called it something else? Stains. Ugh. Staines is the linoleum-producing capital of the country. I did not know that. It's educational, this programme, isn't it?
No.
There's a statue in the high street of two blokes carrying a roll of it. No, there's not. There is not. Julian says, is there really a statue in the high street in Staines of two blokes carrying a roll of lino? I don't believe it. What colour is it? Julian says, Nick, I'm a conscientious and moral shopper, so please don't patronise me. Anyway, I'm straight off to Tesco. Apparently they're doing half-price Christmas cards. Una in Northern Ireland says, that speech you made there about us wanting cheap stuff is one of the best sermons I've ever heard. You really touched my heart. I did no such thing. It weren't me, mister. I ain't done nothing. And Jim tweets, why are you happy to make generalisations of the British people that no one gives a bleep about production in China? Why am I happy to do it? Well, I'm just a generally happy person. What's it got to do with you? He says, if the Chinese government and industry decide to charge cheap prices for stuff we as humans consume, that's their business. What are we going to do about it? Oh, for crying out loud, Jim, you've got to be kidding me. What are we going to do about it? Be more ethical consumers. You think you have no choice? Just because it's cheap, you've got to buy it? This is the reason we don't make any stuff in this country anymore. And people bemoan that fact as though it's got nothing to do with them. Same thing as there's no shops open in the high street, apart from charity stores. Oh, and people could moan and whine and complain about it, and then sit at home and buy everything on Amazon. As though the two things aren't connected. It's all our fault. Everything that is a problem in the world is our fault. And almost everything can be solved by just by changing our behaviour microscopically, which would probably benefit us on a day-to-day basis. But we just don't want to do it because it's my right. I can do what I want. You know, if we bought good, well-made British shirts, then British people would be making British shirts in British factories. But we don't, so they aren't. And we'd look a hell of a lot better, I bet. I bet. We would. Instead of buying some cheap piece of tat from China that's been made out of material that if you rub your arms against the side of your body in that material that your shirt's made of, you'll spark flames. It's so bad. But we're not bothered about any of that because we saved 10 pence by buying it from a poor slave girl who's chained to a machine working 18 hours a day sewing stuff in some dank basement in China. Not remotely bothered as long as it's cheap. And then we complain that there's nothing British anymore. Mark in Sunbury-on-Thames says, Nick, does Tesco not realise that it's the 22nd of December? Isn't it a bit late to stop production of Christmas cards in China? Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Although I haven't sent any Christmas cards yet. Is it too late now? Yeah, I suppose so. But I send you all my best wishes. Does that compensate?
Yes.
What? Oh, that's weird. That button just changed itself. There's something very, very strange going on here. I pressed no and it came up yes. Why is that?
You've broken it.
Why? I have broken it. I broke this entire studio. I'd like to apologise.
I am very sorry that I screwed up. I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm full of regret. I rue it. Stains again. Nick.
Evening, Nick.
Nick.
There is definitely a statue of a couple of blokes carrying, well, if you say it's lino, it's lino, but they're carrying something. There is a statue in Staines of a couple of blokes carrying something.
Well, can you describe it to us?
Big black statue. It looks like they're carrying a pipe, to be honest with you, but it's obviously lino. I've never really looked into it. I just watch my 4-year-old climb up it every time we go shopping in Staines.
Is that allowed?
Well, apparently so. No one ever stops her. I mean, she's quite happy messing around all over it. But yeah, it's obviously a couple of blokes carrying some lino then.
Right.
If you say so. I'm just confirming that it's there. It's definitely there.
Right.
Whether it's lino or not is still up for debate, to be honest with you.
Okay. And what colour is it?
It's just black.
What, the whole statue or just the lino?
No, the whole statue. The blokes and the lino, it's all black.
Right.
There is a plaque on it. I'll make sure I read it next time I go.
Oh, yeah, well, I can't wait.
And confirm the news.
Please do, yeah.
No, I was just confirming the statue is definitely there, though.
Right. Okay, good work. Thanks a lot, Nick. Keep your eyes peeled. 0345 6060 973. Linoleum-based statuary in Staines. There's another excellent reason not to go. Oh, there it is. Blimey, that's huge. That's a very, very big role. Health and safety is obviously not something that they're concerned about. That should be on a forklift. That's massive. That must weigh a ton. How are those blokes holding that up with only their arms? You would think that that'd be an impediment to pedestrians. It takes up a lot of space, doesn't it? Right outside WH Smith and all. How are people going to go in and get their pencils? 0345 6060 973. That is just the most bizarre thing. It's not on a plinth, because I imagined it'd be on a plinth, but they're just standing on the ground in what I imagine is in the the shopping arcade, not the arcade itself, but in a pedestrianised street. That's just weird. Don't you think that's weird? It could be carpet. How do you know it's lino? It could be carpet.
I'm just imagining if you bang your head on that.
Yeah, it could actually be a global thermonuclear missile. Yeah, if you bang your head on it, exactly. But you would have to not see it, which would be kind of hard, being as how it's so massive. Stains. Huh. It actually looks clean, which is odd for Staines. There aren't any on it.
It's stains free. And that's it. If you subscribe to this podcast, you'll find the next episode gets squirted up your life as though by magic on Mondays. And don't forget the podcast that I do with Carol McGiffin. It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, in which we try to solve people's problems while laughing like drains. If you would like us to solve your problem, send it to the following address: nickandcarol@global.com. nickandcarol@global.com.
And you can find What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol where you found this. And I'll be back on the radio on Friday and Saturday nights at 10. And until then, I'll be seeing you.
Bye-bye.